from the Grenadian capital, this is the GBN Television News. GBN, covering you from the Grenadine Island chain to Brooklyn, New York, via the World Wide Web on www.gbn.gd.
The news headlines is brought to you compliments GUT Credit Union.
We are taking pride in outstanding performance. We are encouraging and recognizing innovation. We are committed to continuously doing things better, with enhanced services coming soon. Yes, we are here for you. Check us out today for your financial need. GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
This is the GBN Television News for Wednesday, March 31st. I'm Chrislyn Lashington. In the headlines, Shantymel residents picket Chateau's courthouse as Curtis Cyrus, who has been labeled a troublemaker, appears before the magistrate. Labor Minister to intervene in RBTT workers' dispute. He tells GBN he's hopeful about finding a solution. Government warned that empty promises cannot and will not be allowed to replace its contractual obligations. Current and former senators say government needs to focus its priorities where it matters surrounding the 4% debacle. Will the Prime Minister announce a plan to end the 4% dispute? Eyes and ears will be glued to GBN tonight for his national address. In around the globe, several countries raise concerns on WHO report on coronavirus origins, and humanitarian crisis worsens in Venezuela-Colombia border clashes. Coming up in sports, Grenada wins first match in CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. Details to these and other stories right after this message.
Get high making money moves with the NLA's new Aces High Scratch game with 4 chances to win. Beat the dealer's card to win the prize shown. Reveal an A symbol. And just like that, you are automatically a winner. Scratch away to win the top prize of $10,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play.
Good evening. This is GBN's News at 7. Moss Bread remains behind bars. Tensions were high outside the St. Patrick Courthouse as Curtis Cyrus, alias Moss Bread, made his court appearance on Wednesday. Several Shantymel villagers turned out with placards calling for his continued imprisonment. GBN's Trelawna Charles was at the courthouse in Sateas and sent us this dispatch.
Members of the community of Shantymel St. Patrick, armed with placards, made their way to the Sateas Magistrates Court on Wednesday morning to engage in a peaceful protest, demanding justice against 48-year-old Curtis Cyrus, alias Moss Bread, who arrived for his first court appearance. Cyrus, who was arrested and remanded to the Richmond Hill prison on Tuesday, 23rd March, was charged with 2 counts of damage to crops, 1 count of petty larceny, 1 count of vagrancy, and 1 count of possession of a controlled drug. Prior to this arrest, he had 33 pending matters in the court and was said to have been terrorizing members of Shantymel since his arrival. Protesters said they hope to not only seek justice in their legal matters, but to ensure the removal of Cyrus from the community.
But we don't want him back in the village with us.
Justice, we want justice, and Curtis cannot come back there and stay because my husband would be still frightened of him.
Time now for he to get out of Shantymel, and if he's not get out of Shantymel, attack to the police and them are ready. We don't need police to guard us. We don't need policing with village because we the people of Shantymel, we could work for ourselves.
We're hoping to see that they try the gentleman, Curtis, aka Moss Bread. We're hoping to see that they try him and that they don't leave him to say like put him off and say case on next time. And even though they don't complete the case, we're hoping that he go back down in remand
so you have us feeling uncomfortable. We have to sleep, as they say, with one eye open. We want to have a good rest. And when justice prevails, then we will have a rest.
Resident of Shantimel and NDC caretaker for St. Patrick West, Joseph Andal, showed his support for his community. He said the community's actions as a unit has begun to bear fruit.
The actions taken by the community over the past couple of weeks have begun to bear fruit, and the lesson from this is that if you sit down and do nothing, nothing will happen. But when you become proactive, when you begin to seek justice, when you move together as a community, united in purpose, you will get results. So this is a main takeaway from this morning.
Andal said it is time for the justice system to prove that it is trustworthy and operates fairly for the citizens of Grenada.
Today, I believe it's a good opportunity for the justice system to show that it can deliver for all citizens. People have a right to feel free and to believe that their concerns will be addressed without people having to take the law into their own hands. So my expectation is that justice will be served, that everyone will come out of this being satisfied with the outcome.
Following his court appearance, Cyrus remains on remand at the Richmond Hill Prison and will make his next court appearance on the 9th of April 2021. Trelona Charles, GBN News.
We move on to another protest, this time in the south of mainland Grenada. RBTT workers added musical instruments to their protest today as they continued to camp outside of the bank's premises over a prolonged struggle with the financial institution. The latest word is that the RBTT management may be prepared to go to arbitration following their refusal to accept recommendations put forward by the Minister for Labour and Labour Commissioner. That's the update as per a conversation today with Labour Minister Peter David, who was questioned about the bank's non-compliance with the recommendations put forward both by himself and Labour Commissioner Cyrus Griffith. He spoke with GBN's Chrislyn today.
For the past 3 weeks, employees of the bank's Grandans branch have been engaged in industrial actions led by its bargaining agent, the Technical and Allied Workers Union. This move has negatively impacted customers, which left them unable to conduct transactions. During an exclusive interview Wednesday with the Labour Minister, he relayed he is of the belief that some sort of resolution may soon be reached. A meeting was scheduled for Wednesday. However, the Labour Minister says this did not materialize.
I believe that there is still a possibility for resolution. That is why we scheduled a meeting this morning, but the meeting didn't come up because of time scheduling between the company and the workers. Representative Tau, that meeting hopefully will come off tomorrow morning, because I still believe, and my approach to these labor disputes is that until the fat lady thinks it's not over. So I try as much as possible to get the parties as close to resolution as possible, hoping that there is or will be some kind of compromise. I'm going to meet with the workers tomorrow, and that is why, and the company. That is why I won't say much today, just to say that I am hopeful that we'll find some kind of resolution.
According to Minister David, the company has taken a position on the issue.
Labour Commissioner first heard the dispute. He made a recommendation. I subsequently heard it. I made a recommendation, and the company has not accepted. The trade union, the union representing the workers, they have accepted it. They are prepared to go with our recommendation, but the company has said it's not going to do that, preferring instead to go to arbitration. That arbitration process is quite lengthy. It can have all kinds of ups and downs. The details of the proposal I'm not prepared to discuss publicly unless the company and the union wants to do that.
Should the company decide to leave the country, can they be prevented from doing so?
With respect to the whole issue that with Scotia Bank, when we had a similar situation in Scotiabank, the government there was some vesting orders that the government had to do in order for the sale to be completed. In the case of RBTT, according to the lawyers involved and according to the regulators, because it's a sale of shares, no such government permission, as it were, is needed. Therefore, the government does not have the kind of control over the issue as we had in the Scotiabank issue. But
the actions taken by employees stemmed from the proposed sale of RBTT and the position of the workers in terms of the benefits to be received. Chrislyn John, GBN News.
The noise in the market is not the sale. That's the warning to the government as public sector unions continue to campaign for the 4% increase in salaries. The unions say the government has not treated the issue with any urgency while making empty noises in the public domain. Public Relations Officer of the Public Workers Union, Daisy Hazard, was adamant as she appeared on GBN's Beyond the Headlines that the empty responses by government do not replace a contractual obligation or set out the terms and conditions for a new one. Former GUT President Kenny James also lent voice to the discussion, which was themed The Socio-Economic Climate 2021. Gerard Joseph has the details.
The empty promise by government that it will pay by December 2021 will have no weight on the negotiating table, so say representatives of the public sector unions.
What the government has given is basically an empty promise. And we cannot accept that. The membership of our public sector unions cannot accept that you're just going to pay in December. There's nothing indicating to us, you have not provided any evidence that the economy would improve or it would get better, or you are going to get some grant from somewhere that's going to help you to pay. There's nothing like that on the table.
Former GUT President Kenny James believes the issue of trust is one of the critical issues affecting the process of collective bargaining in Grenada between unions and government.
There are a number of issues, there are a number of situations that would have confronted our unions, which indicates that the government is not pro-public sector.
He notes the docked salaries for the pension agreement dispute, which is non-existent for some public servants, have continued to raise issues of trust. Public Relations Officer for the Public Workers Union, Daisy Hazard, says government has failed to initiate the renegotiation clause in the contractual agreement signed in 2019. Hazard impresses that the phrase, "my word is my bond," or even a promissory note from government can no longer be trusted.
Even when we return to the table, what is the basis for us to believe that somehow in December, just a mere 8 months from now, GOG is going to find that money, and if a new agreement is signed, uphold it, honor it. I think what we really would want from the GOG, in addition to anything, if we have to make some compromise, is an act of good faith at this time. There are dock salaries to be repaid. There is Gemma Bain Thomas to be paid.
Having engaged the Labour Commissioner to intervene in the dispute with government, Hazard confirmed to GBN that they have received a response to resume the conversation towards a resolution. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Government needs to focus its priorities where it matters. That's the view of a former and a present member of the Senate. They both shared their 2 cents on the current impasse. More in this Rena Pierre report.
They may not have been colleagues, but they are singing from the same hymn sheet as they dissect the ongoing impasse between the teachers and the government. Ron Redhead served in the Senate under the National Democratic Congress, and Terry Noel is now seating in the House based on the nod from opposition leader Tobias Clement. Both have been analyzing the current stalemate between the government and the public sector unions. Ron Redhead tells GBN that while he understands the case which has been advanced by the government, he believes that the ruling administration's action contradicts its statements.
I don't see the need to spend $30 million on traffic lights. I listened to the Commissioner of Police today, and I think we could do with some surveillance cameras at different entry points other than the main ports of entry in Grenada to help monitor the situation and keep people out during COVID-19. So it is a question, in my view, honestly, of priority. And if the government of Grenada is serious about the situation, what they will do is not try to create this contention with the unions by saying, well, we can't meet this because our revenues is down, but try to meet them halfway. Understanding the current situation, that it was the workers who, in fact, had to brave the situation during COVID-19, and at least some level of respect.
Redhead has an idea of how government could resolve the issue.
Given that situation, what the situation may require the government to do, in my view, or at least if I was in the position, I would seek to pay the nurses first as Minister of Finance. That increase, and then I will pay the teachers, and then I will pay the general public servants within a particular period, which will give me more time as I continue to pay the increase to the nurses, then the teachers. In between those periods, I will then do things to help bolster economic activity during the COVID period to try to be able to meet our targets of revenue collection.
Opposition Senator Terry Noel expressed similar sentiments on GBN's To The Point program. He said with the high cost of living and the loss of many jobs, some public workers are heavily burdened.
I mean, a more progressive government to me would have done probably something of the sort, upgrade the airport maybe sometime before. So I thought that a more progressive thinking government would have done the necessary things then to upgrade the airport. But you can't come and tell me now, when we have one of the biggest pandemic on our hand, and things are so difficult, that you're finding monies now over $177 million from the Exim Bank and an additional $45 million, I think, from the World Bank. Look now, the government, the airport cannot create enough revenue to even maintain itself. And you're talking about you going and take a loan to upgrade at this moment. Again, the issue of all these are happening while workers are asking for the 4% increase.
The government of Grenada and the union representative are expected to meet around the negotiation table in the coming days. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear reporting.
This is News at 7. Coming up, police gave the assurance that there would be no Easter weekend lockdown. So what will the Prime Minister say in his address tonight? The Government Information Service teases his talking points. We'll have that when we come back. Stay with us.
There's a reason we have been here to serve you for the past 40 years. A reason we have continued to grow. A reason we have continued to celebrate. That reason is you. We have been here to help you plan for your future and here to help you celebrate your achievements. We continue to be here, even when the future seems unclear. Because one thing is certain, you're the reason we care.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Angie, don't you know that you should not fly kites near electrical poles and wires? You should only fly it in open areas. If the kite gets stuck, it can cause power outages throughout the village.
Then I'll just pull it down, Johnny. Simple.
No, you shouldn't do that. You can get shocked. You should call Grenlec at 237 and they will come and help.
Alright.
Never fly kites near the power lines. If your kite ever gets tangled, do not attempt to remove it on your own. A message from Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Paying is faster and easier with Blow FastPay. Use your MasterCard or Visa and pay from anywhere. Log on to discoverflow.co/fastpay and press Consumer. Select your country and enter your account number. Enter the amount to be paid and an email address. Enter your credit card information. You'll receive a payment confirmation with the transaction details, along with a receipt to your email address. It's fast, safe, and easy. Blow, keeping you connected.
Last year was great. This year will be better. Data, internet, drinks, groceries, fuel, cooking gas, electricity, savings account, property or vehicle insurance, Hubbard's promotion coming soon.
Ridgeway Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza Credit Union on 415-0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
How going on, boy? Hey, good old things. Hey, easy. Yeah. Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day. Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service. Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy. Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016. Or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
GBN leads, the others follow. This segment is brought to you by Republic Bank.
There's a reason we have been here to serve you for the past 40 years. A reason we have continued to grow. A reason we have continued to celebrate. That reason is you. We have been here to help you plan for your future and here to help you celebrate your achievements. We continue to be here, even when the future seems unclear. Because one thing is certain, you're the reason we care.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Some are breathing easier as they prepare for an address by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell. It comes up immediately following this newscast. The Government Information Service announced plans for the address on Monday. GBN's Beverly Tellisford looks ahead to some of the likely talking points of the speech, which comes up in under an hour's time if you're watching this broadcast live.
The needle on the people meter went into a tizzy as members of the public speculated about his possible talking points and announcements. People were jittery over the possibility that he may announce a lockdown over the Easter weekend to prevent large social gatherings at beaches and other picnic sites. However, that fear was alleviated yesterday during a briefing held by the Commissioner of Police.
The approach of the RGPF operational approach over the weekend will be to have a static deployment in areas that seems to be problematic and then to maintain some measure of roving patrols. The default position of the police force as we do this will be to engage, advise, remind, and encourage compliance wherever we see anything that might be tipping over the expectation. There is no intention of the force to become an overbearing presence on the members of the public where it is not necessarily needed. And all we see ourselves as a critical partner in this fight to continue to guide the public as we seek to work on this together as a nation.
What was seen as further efforts to calm public tension came yesterday in a form of a press statement from the Government Information Service. It gave a preview to the address, saying that it will focus primarily on the COVID-19 pandemic and other topical issues. The GIS noted that in the past year of dealing with the impact of the pandemic, Grenada has been largely spared the onslaught of a health crisis. However, the financial impact of the pandemic has been severe, halting operations in some sectors and leaving many Grenadians unemployed. The country is now in the midst of rolling out its COVID-19 vaccination program in preparation for a possible return to normal life. The GIS brief said that the Prime Minister is expected to encourage responsible behavior among citizens as it relates to adhering to the recommended protocols and getting vaccinated. For GBN News, Beverly Telliswood.
More needs to be done in the criminal justice system, so says Gregory Williams, forensic scientist and president of the Caribbean Association of Forensic Sciences. He was speaking ahead of an upcoming forensic conference scheduled in Grenada. Chrislyn John has the details.
Lack of experts and expertise can sometimes lead to serious crimes being brushed aside. According to Williams, the Caribbean Association of Forensic Sciences, the CAFS, have realized that there is a need for police forces and the justice systems to be given that boost in crime-solving techniques. He points to some gray areas in our local system.
That is, at the moment, should get, let me say, a forensic pathologist. I think that is lacking. And having a forensic pathologist on island would be very, very good. And also some more trained forensic scientists, forensic specialists, who is really versed in all the different areas of crime scene investigations. So you need crime scene investigations, you need pathologists, toxicologists, etc.
Lawyers too, he says, needs to be brought up to speed.
So what happens is that the attorneys, the lawyers, what happened is that we see a need for them also to be educated in the field of forensic science, because what we call the expert witness. And when this time comes to forensic evidence, and as a trained attorney, and you don't really know how to question that expert, it could be chaotic at times. So we saw the need, to bring this association together, to put it together in order to help the Caribbean and the criminal justice system.
The conference, he says, will see the engagement of doctors, nurses, lawyers, and police officers. And what they are trying to do is to forge closer forensic networking across the region. And presenters from a wide cross-section will focus on different aspects on the day. He zeroed in on some of the areas.
Forensic mapping. Geographical mapping, and this is an important area now in forensic science, and where now you can actually use the Google Maps so you can pinpoint certain crimes, you can find hotspots. Gunshot residue, representation and gunshot residue also. CSI effect, the pressure that, especially now in the pandemic, what will happen to the CSIs, that the officers that go to their duties every day, the pressure that is on them, dealing with all the crimes and then fitting back into the workplace and then also going back into society, the effect it will have on them.
The conference is being organized by the Caribbean Association of Forensic Sciences. Chrislyn John, GBN News.
Such a great initiative. And now we turn our attention to what has viewers and listeners saying that it's tonight's social buzz. Let's take a look around the social media platforms.
This is Social Buzz, where we shine a light on the thoughts and concerns of our online audience. A video circulated on social media showing a heated argument between a police officer and a civilian, during which the police officer drew his weapon. Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin said an inquiry has been launched.
I do not want to speak without having all of the facts in the matter, but certainly looking at the video, there are concerns, and I have already directed that an investigation be carried out into what transpires in this particular case so we can treat with the issues appropriately.
GBN's online audience gave their opinions on the incident. Donald commented, "One thing I must say, lots of police can't take what they give. There are lots of cases where things can go smoothly, but some officers approach in ways that are disrespectful. They use curse words and abusive language and can't take it when you give them back." Michelle wrote, "Let me say this very clear. Yes, the civilian's behavior was distasteful, but as a professional and a member of the RGPF, you are taught how to work under pressure, and this officer's behavior is definitely out of control and a disgrace to the uniform. He is unprofessional and shows zero deportment. People talking about if he's overseas, the civilian would be dead, but professionalism is key, especially in his line of work. He displayed very poor work ethics." Rawlins commented, "Yes, the police pulled his gun, but the driver challenging the police to fight him. Listen to what he is saying. You cannot just blame one and not the other. Let's be fair. Two of them are hotheads. You cannot always blame the police. That's my opinion." Another individual commented, "Police officers are paid with our taxpayer dollars. Their responsibility is to protect and serve. An officer must know how to defuse the situation. If the gentleman said he doesn't want you, then let your colleagues do it. Simple. Not because you have a rifle or firearm, you can release it from the holster and point it in the direction of the individual." Ron commented, "I agree with a full investigation from the start of the incident to the end. Mr. Commissioner, keep in mind that the civilian was acting in an aggressive manner at that moment. The officer maybe was fearing for his life. Therefore, that gives him the right to defend himself. Does a civilian have the right to determine which officer should search his vehicle if it is a legal search?" Zane wrote, "This really has to be a joke. He is telling the police don't touch his vehicle, don't search his vehicle, he would beat him up, etc. His hands are all up in the police face, etc. And the commissioner says from the video he sees matters for concern. I wonder who he is concerned for." That's it for tonight's Social Buzz. If you would like to have your thoughts and concerns shared, be sure to comment on GBN's Facebook page.
Let's move from the thought process to the visual impact. It's time to take a peek through the GBN Eyesore lens.
A good eye catches all. GBN Eyesore is brought to you by Clear Vision. Life is beautiful if only you can see it. Clear Vision Eye Center helps you do just that. We provide expert service, classy eyewear, and cutting-edge technology, all with a quality customer experience. See better, feel better, and look better. Meet us today at clearvisiongrenada.com or call 444-0055, WhatsApp 409-0055, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Clear Vision Eye Center. Let's see life and the world with a clear vision.
Our eyesore reporter tonight said the bridge pictured is in need of serious attention. The railing of the bridge in La Motte St. George has now completely fallen off, according to a reporter. She said the community members had tried to fix the broken boards, however, they are rotten. She mentioned that the La Motte Road is the only other option if Bolio Main Road is closed or obstructed. She's hoping tonight's submission garners some attention. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
Still ahead, police seeking the assistance of the public in locating missing 14-year-old girl. This is News at 7.
Introducing Color by Sissons. 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 Color by Sissons.
groceries? Why not visit realvalueiga.com and experience our new online shopping platform? Place your order, then go out and enjoy your day to spend more time with friends and family. Delivery available within select locations or in-store pickup available. Sounds simple, right? It is. Stress less, live more with Real Value IGA online store, where good food begins.
Message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
You want a hand sanitizer to do 3 things: kill germs, be gentle, and to go where you go. You can get all of that in our hand sanitizer. Hard on germs, gentle on hands, affordable. Remember, hand sanitizers contain alcohol. Keep away from heat and flames and avoid contact with eyes. Available at retailers island-wide.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
Once upon a time, we shopped at Wonderland, then Neverland. But we're all grown up now and no longer believe in fairy tales. So now we just shop at Shoes R Us. At Shoes R Us, we stock the latest in shoes, tops, and jeans for the fashion-conscious lady. We also carry colognes and much, much more. And for the modern trendy male, we have the latest brand-name shoes and sneakers: Converse, Reebok, Nike, K-Swiss, Puma, and much more. So check us out at our 2 convenient locations: Melville Street in St. George and Ben Jones Street in Granville. At Shoes R Us, we say, come shop with us.
This is GBN. We've got the means, the power, and the medium. This segment is brought to you by Flow.
Your hard work, talent, and creativity, plus Flow, equals more ways to chase your dreams. Flow is connecting all of Grenada, from Point Salines to Hillsborough, with the most reliable connection on the island. So now everyone can work, study, and keep moving forward together. Visit discoverflow.co for more information.
Police are seeking the assistance of the general public in locating 14-year-old Shania McIntosh of Crowshoe St. Andrew. Shania was last seen on Monday, March 29th, 2021, at approximately 4:05 in the afternoon. She is about 4 feet 8 inches in height, medium built, and dark in complexion. She was last seen wearing a green top and black long pants. Anyone seeing Shania McIntosh or has any information about her whereabouts is asked to contact Grenville Police Station at 442-7224, Police Emergency at 911, Police Hotline at 444-1958, or the nearest police station. Grenada participated in a global summit to help the most vulnerable countries fight issues of climate change. Countries that are most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change will help set the international agenda in the run-up to the annual UN Climate Change Conference, COP26. Today, 31st March, the UK hosted its Climate and Development Ministerial event, which brought together Caribbean countries such as Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and partners to work on solutions to the many challenges developing countries face. The UK's international champion on adaptation and resilience for COP26, Anne-Marie Trevelyan, also took part alongside representatives from youth groups, Indigenous people, and financial institutions. It marked a key moment on the road to COP26 in Glasgow later this year and aims to build consensus on practical actions and solutions across 4 key areas. Stay with us. Sports is up next.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Valley Pharmacy offers both wholesale and retail pharmaceutical and over-the-counter products. We have the most competitive and affordable prices. We are the agents for Vic Plus multivitamin for healthy everyday lifestyle and Synatogen powder. Hills and Valley Pharmacy supplies the best quality, name brand clinical products such as Rescue Oil, Bio Oil, Neutrogena, Aveeno, and Clarisil. We offer the most convenient opening hours. Our telephone numbers are 435-6904 or 6903. Remember, at Hills and Valley Pharmacy, your health is our business. We care.
Now open Hills and Valley Medicare Center, your one-stop for medical supplies, massage therapy, physiotherapy, and an in-house physician. At Hills and Valley, your health is our business.
Do you know what time it is? You guessed right, it's detox time again. At Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. Purchase our 7-day cleansing pack for only $500. Includes everything you need for a complete total body cleanse. Cleanse your blood, kidney, liver, and colon. This cleanse will help you lighten up and get rid of the excess. Also available are our special product Detox Combo Pack for only $100. Try our single detox products starting from $40. Check us out now. Belmont St. George's, close to the Fall Edge area, or call us on 231-6642, 449-7753, or 418-7115. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. Detox, your way to health.
Keeping an eye on the weather. This is GBN. We've got you covered.
Let's take a look at the weather forecast. For tonight, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy with few isolated showers, improving by early morning. The temperature is expected to be 24.5 degrees Celsius. The winds east-northeasterly to east-southeasterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Seas moderate to rough, waves 6 to 9 feet in open waters. A marine advisory is in effect. Tides are low at 1:30 a.m. and high at 7:45 a.m. Let's look ahead for this long weekend. On Thursday, the sun will rise at 5 minutes past 6 and set at 19 minutes past 6 in the evening. The weather is expected to be partly cloudy and windy, morning with a few brief showers possible, becoming generally fair during the afternoon. On Friday, we're looking at generally fair and windy, becoming partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with few brief evening showers possible. And on Saturday, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy and windy with morning showers, brief showers in the morning, becoming generally fair by midday, increasing in cloudiness overnight with few brief to widely scattered early morning showers. That's it for your weather forecast right here on GBN News. Grenada moved up to third in Group A after defeating USVI 1-0 at home in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. Cedrel Lewis scored his first World Cup qualifiers goal and put Grenada ahead in the 33rd minute. The match remained at 1-0 at the end of full time, giving Grenada its first points in the qualifiers as they leapfrog Montserrat, who is on 2 points, and edge closer to Antigua and El Salvador. Grenada will look to build on that momentum when they head to Antigua and Barbuda on June 4th and close out qualification against Montserrat on June 8th, with Group A still anyone's to claim. It's the first victory for the Spice Boys under the guidance of former Canada assistant coach Michael Finley. Meanwhile, head coach Michael Finley says he is elated to have won at home and earned the first victory as coach since taking up the office in January. Coach Finley says they expected USVI to be tough opponents, and it became a reality on Tuesday night.
And at times, I'm sure it was very frustrating for not just our players, but for our fans, because they sat in a low block and made it very difficult for us. And at the end of the day, we're happy to walk away with the 3 points and are pleased with the performance. But hopefully, as we move forward, we'll be able to capitalize on the chances that we're making. But in general, very pleased. 3 points, still very much alive inside the group with 2 games to go.
He says he has been impressing on players and the coaching staff to maintain a positive mindset while creating a team culture for home and away matches.
But overall, I wanted everybody to be positive, and that may be a small word that everybody think, yeah, well, you need to always be positive. But when you're working at this level and in World Cup qualifying and playing against the players that we were playing against over the last 2 games, you have to find yourself and find your mind to be optimistic and be able to be the protagonist in playing football. I see this group as being very front foot in football, we call it, very aggressive, both with and without the ball, and I want them to live that themselves. But I also wanted to teach them and the staff about the intricacies about international football and how hard it is and how we must look to commit to a process both individually and as a group.
Still with football, fans were left wanting with a high level of annoyance with the failure to start talismanic striker Jamal Ray Charles in the first match against El Salvador. Jamal was used as a sub in the second half, with Grenada ending up as the losing side versus El Salvador. On the starting list for the USVI encounter, Jamal was marked as not present. In the pre-match briefing to the USVI matchup, Coach Finley explains what would have transpired.
Jamal Charles will always be a very significant part of this team and this program, but due to challenges for him, we had to make some decisions as it relates to his travel, his conditioning, and the opportunity to enter the game at a time we felt that was tactically more beneficial to us.
The Sri Lankan batsmen struggled on day 3 against the attack of the West Indian bowlers, as well as 2 rain interruptions. Resuming on 136 for 3 from day 2, Sri Lanka crumbled under the pressure of some brilliant bowling by West Indies. Almost all of the West Indian bowlers captured a wicket and recorded fantastic economy rates. Sri Lanka was 250 for 8 after 103.1 overs, just after 5 p.m. this afternoon before another rain delay. GBN continues to bring the Test series via radio. Classic 105. That's it for sports. We go around the globe next. Chinese state media say the country has been vindicated by a WHO report investigating the origins of the coronavirus pandemic. A team of experts visited Wuhan, the first known location of the outbreak, earlier this year and concluded that transmission from an animal was the most likely source. But critics, including the governments of 14 countries, have questioned the credibility of the report. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu has more from Wuhan.
The World Health Organization may be facing growing international pressure over its newly released coronavirus report. But here in Wuhan, where the pandemic started, people are pleased with its findings.
The WHO has authority. Western countries kept accusing China of causing the pandemic. This report shows China is innocent.
I believe the conclusions in the WHO report, but I think it came out too late. China has suffered a lot from the virus. It shows China is not guilty.
On Tuesday, the UN agency released a 120-page document detailing the results of a month-long mission to China to study the origin of COVID-19. The team concluded the most likely source of the virus was a bat or other animal, and the least likely was a leak from a Wuhan government lab. The report also thanked the Chinese government for facilitating the visit.
China has overcome difficulties to conduct joint research with the WHO. Our goal is to reflect our openness and transparency.
But critics say the mission was anything but open and transparent. Chinese government officials curated and tightly controlled the visit, chaperoning the experts at all times and controlling what information they could access. Jamie Metzel says Beijing also vetoed participants on the mission. He drafted an open letter signed by 24 experts calling for a new international inquiry into China.
It wasn't an investigation at all. A 2-week study tour with very limited access to records, samples, and key personnel is not an entire waste of time, but it's not even remotely close to being the kind of full and unrestricted international forensic investigation which we need.
The US and 13 other countries have signed a joint statement raising concerns about the report. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus issued his strongest criticism of China to date, saying raw data was difficult to access, and the Wuhan lab leak theory required more extensive assessment.
The WHO says they never expected the mission to produce a definitive answer about the origin of COVID-19, and a second phase of research is required. But as international criticism builds over China's role in the study, they may find that Wuhan becomes increasingly like this former seafood market, blocked off and impossible to access. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Wuhan.
The humanitarian situation on Colombia's border with Venezuela is getting worse as fighting intensifies. About 5,000 Venezuelan refugees are already housed in temporary shelters in the town of Arauquita in Colombia. More are seeking refuge in private homes and rural areas. This comes as Venezuela's security forces continue operations against a Colombian rebel group. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti reports from the border town of Arauquita in Colombia.
9 days after the start of Venezuela's military campaign against Colombia's rebel forces, the situation in the Colombian border town of Arauquita is critical. Almost 5,000 refugees are housed in shelters, but that number only tells part of the story. Hundreds more are staying in overcrowded private homes. Elicar Garcia, who fled from the Venezuelan town of La Victoria, says she's sharing this space with 63 other people, and they haven't received any help.
They say assistance is primarily for the shelters. Nothing has arrived yet for us. We don't want to go to a shelter. We have many people with diabetes, high blood pressure, many kids, and we're scared of COVID.
Refugees are crossing the border into rural areas too. At least 100 share this farmhouse and are extending it to protect new arrivals from the rain. Roberto Mignone from the United Nations Refugee Agency says underreporting is an issue, but a proper camp for at least 500 people will soon be ready.
The idea is to decongest the places which at the moment are very full of people, and also for those people who live with families in very crowded environment, we will move them here. The base will be the prioritization on the basis of vulnerability.
Many of the refugees are Colombians who fled to Venezuela decades ago at the height of Colombia's conflict between guerrillas, paramilitary and state forces. Most now say Venezuela's government helped create this crisis by long tolerating the presence of Colombia's rebel forces in their territory. Rebels graffiti like this one still appear on the walls of houses here on the Colombian side, but the violence associated with the conflict has been greatly reduced, at least in this region, while the delicate balance that maintained the peace on the Venezuelan side has now broken down.
We had heard rumours that the government was going to confront the guerrilla, but would have never expected such a brutal repression against the civilian population, especially by a government that pretends to be revolutionary. We lost everything.
For years, the Arauca River dividing the two countries helped contain fighting in Colombia. It appears the economic and political crisis in Venezuela has allowed that conflict to resume on the other side. A confrontation that once sparked might again prove difficult to tame. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera Arauquita.
That's it for Around the Globe. Stay tuned for a recap of the headlines. A recap of the headlines. Chantemelle residents picket Sater's courthouse as Curtis Cyrus, who has been labeled as a troublemaker, appears before the magistrate. Labor minister to intervene in RBT2 workers' dispute, he tells GBN he's hopeful about finding a solution. Government warned that empty promises cannot and will not be allowed to replace its contractual obligations. Current and former senators say government needs to focus its priorities where it matters, surrounding the 4% debacle. And in Around the Globe, several countries raise concerns on WHO report on coronavirus origins, and humanitarian crisis worsens in Venezuela-Colombia border clashes. In sports, Grenada wins first match in CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. If you missed any part of this newscast, a repeat of it will be broadcast at 10 o'clock tonight. Continue to follow us online at www.gbn.gd or on GBN Television's Facebook page or YouTube channel for these and other top stories. I'm Chrislyn Lashington. That's the news. We'll see you again. Good night.